This is what I believe to be true. You have to do everything you can. You have to work your hardest. And if you do, if you stay positive, then you have a shot at a silver lining. In a relationship, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. If you could change the neural pathways in your brain so that you could recall everything you've ever heard, tasted, smelled, or touched, basically from the womb on, and use it at your disposal, that's an interesting concept. I have to tell you, you can't have an ego when you're an actor. A lot of actors have them, but in reality most of those people are just sensitive artists dying for a hug and a compliment. Our posture now defines our portion later. God opposes the proud. The way you get up front is do really good work in the back. Humility is a byproduct of spending time with Jesus. It is not a reflection of yourself. You can tell if someone's into you. You can feel the chemistry. Anything has a rhythm to it, comedy or drama. There has to be a musicality to it. And everybody can't play the same instrument, ideally. But I think that we all have the same comedic tendencies, and that's why it works. We all sort of agree with what's funny. For a comedy to work, magic has to happen. It's too hard to make a movie if you don't care about what happens to it, or even what the product is. I can't even imagine that. It's not worth the time and effort if you don't care about the product. I want to work with great filmmakers and great actors and get better as an actor. If you look at anything, there are always comedic moments. Personally, I've made myself a very small window of what I enjoy in this business, which is I love being a big part of the storytelling process. I definitely am a huge lover of comedy, and it's only through doing so many comedies that I've realized how much of an influence they've been on me. I think if you live in a black and white world, you're gonna suffer a lot. I used to be like that, but I don't believe that anymore. There's got to be something you want to tell, and that's the engine which spurs all of the work you have to do in order to create the story. But you have to love some sort of nugget of what you're telling to be a filmmaker. Being in Us Weekly does not make you famous. I think I'm a decent looking guy. Sometimes I can look great, and other times I look horrifying. Some directors have just one way of working. You either have to adhere to it or you don't. I've never heard of a comedy that hasn't had reshoots, especially for the ending of a movie in a comedy. Life's complicated and people do things for a lot of reasons. When we see Christ for who He is, He then tells us who we are. It's beyond my control who's going to cast me or how you're going to pigeonhole. So for me, it's just I want to keep doing different things because I want to get better. So hopefully I'll be hired to do them. If you look at anybody who's had a long career, if you look at the choices they've made, even if the movies haven't worked, they've always worked with great filmmakers. There are certain actors you watch in a movie, and you think, wow, that guy is very skilled. There's got to be something you want to tell, and that's the engine which spurs all of the work you have to do in order to create the story. But you have to love some sort of nugget of what you're telling to be a filmmaker. Let's make something clear. This one here's our booty. You want to get to him, you go through us. Or more accurately, we go through you. I think the biggest thing I learned is that sky's the limit if you find a companion artistically, and you have a project. I think if you live in a black and white world, you're gonna suffer a lot. Or you have to do everything you can. You have to work your hardest. And if you do, if you stay positive, you have a shot at a silver lining. The world will break your heart 10 ways to Sunday. That's guaranteed. And I can't begin to explain that, or the craziness inside myself and everybody else, but guess what? Sunday is my favorite day again. I think of everything everyone did for me and I feel like a very lucky guy.